We're happy to have you with us on this Friday afternoon. We begin with new information on the October fire that destroyed 4 Great Falls businesses.
While the building is about to come down, City Code will prevent a new adult bookstore like Pretty Girls to open in the same location. The city ordinance prevents sexually oriented businesses from opening within 600 feet of certain facilities. That list includes any other sexually oriented business, and the destroyed building is just behind the Playground Lounge. This was not a problem prior to the fire because the code was established after the businesses opened, so they were grandfathered in.
This week, the City Development Department issued a condemnation notice to the property owner. He now has 30 days to apply for a demolition permit, then another 30 days to fully demolish what's left of the building. The property owner tells us he plans on rebuilding but is not sure at this time what businesses will move in. Assistant Fire Chief Steve Hester says the cause of the fire is still under investigation, and there's a possibility that officials will never know what started it due to the extent of the damage.
Emergency rooms across the country treat an average of 170,000 traumatic brain injuries every year. That figure from the Centers for Disease Control only covers injuries that result from playing sports.
MTN's Marne Banks tells us what one Great Falls senator is trying to do to protect young athletes from concussions.
No. Concussions are not a toughness issue. The times have changed.
I'm okay, Coach. You always hear that. I'm okay, Coach.
He had a reputation for being as tough as nails. He gave as good as he got, and he would do anything for his teammates and coaches. My name is Cindy Steigers, and Senate Bill 112, the Dylan Steigers Protection of Youth Athletes Act, was named for my son Dylan.
Senate Bill 112 would create a concussion education program to raise awareness about the risks of brain injury. Senator Anders Blewett is a former football player and is carrying the legislation because he believes athletes, coaches, schools, and medical professionals need to take concussions more seriously.
We know for a fact that these traumatic brain injuries, when they happen in rapid succession, can cause permanent long-term brain injuries that will affect them the rest of their lives.
The bill would also require any high school to pull a player out of the game if they are exhibiting signs of a concussion. The education and medical communities all say this bill is a much-needed policy statement to tell athletes that their brains are just as valuable as their arms and legs. But for Cindy, the legislation is a way to remember her son.
Our lives were forever shattered on May 8, 2010, when Dylan, who was playing the safety position, stumbled off the field toward the end of the game. He and I were flown to Boise while his dad was driven by car. He was removed from life support the next day and died. If we can keep one child and one family from suffering the tragedy we have suffered, the value of passing this bill would be immeasurable.
In Helena, Marne Banks, MTN News.
The Senate Judiciary Committee is expected to vote on the bill in the coming weeks.
A man who was facing 85 years in federal prison for drug and weapon charges will now serve only 5 years.
The jury convicted Kris Williams of 8 federal drug and firearms charges in connection to a former medical marijuana dispensary, Montana Cannabis, that he co-owned with 2 other people. U.S. District Judge Dana Christensen says he feels an 85-year sentence in this case would be unjust, so he suggested the prosecutors and defense meet in a settlement conference. In that conference, Williams agreed to withdraw motions for acquittal and a new trial, and in exchange, the prosecutors dismissed 6 of the charges. During a 2011 raid of the Montana cannabis business, federal agents seized more than 40 firearms and marijuana. Prosecutors said Williams and others who worked with him were drug trafficking, and they were in possession of firearms while they committed the crimes.
A familiar face in Cascade County has become the 18th chief of the Montana Highway Patrol. Kenton Hickey was appointed to the MHP post by Montana Attorney General Tim Fox. In today's ceremony, he was promoted to the rank of colonel. He's been serving in the Highway Patrol for the last 27 years.
I look forward to working with you to make the future of Montanans even brighter. It is no secret, I feel policing is one of the noblest professions that a person can undertake. It has incredible rewards and responsibilities.
Retiring Colonel Michael Tooley will take over as director of the Montana Department of Transportation.
The American Red Cross is celebrating a longtime donor who's helping serve people in need in more ways than one.
KRTV's Jen Fenter introduces us to Pat Terry, the state's highest achieving platelet donor.
I actually started donating whole blood in 1969.
Pat Terry gave more than 13 gallons of whole blood during 104 different donations. And in 1992, switched to donating platelets after hearing there was a shortage.
It has not changed, and it really depends on the seasons. Like, right now in the wintertime, there's a lot of storms going on, and they're canceling a lot of blood drives throughout the country.
According to the Red Cross, platelets have a shelf life of just 5 days, which makes maintaining an adequate supply of the life-saving product an ongoing challenge. So for the last 20 years, Pat has given part of himself every 2 weeks for 2 hours a visit, totaling nearly 960 hours of his time, in addition to the 500 platelet donations helping those in need, which is enough of a reason to keep going.
It's just part of me now. I just enjoy doing it, and I know it's helping folks.
Through the years sitting in this chair, Pat says he's become friends with everyone at Red Cross and is now more than just a donor.
Now I'm also a volunteer courier. I actually drive for the Red Cross twice a week to pick up blood in Missoula, Bozeman, Helena, bring it back here.
He says it's not about the number of miles he travels or the number of hours spent sitting, but knowing he can help and does. In Great Falls, Jen Fenter, MTN News.
And platelets clot blood. They are vital in emergency situations and commonly needed among cancer patients.
The American Red Cross says one platelet donation is worth 12 to 18 whole blood donations.
Well, if you're hitting the roads this weekend, the weather should not be a problem.
Mike is here with the outlook.
We are looking at some very nice weather this evening, tomorrow, Sunday. It's going to be a great weekend to get out and enjoy big sky country. 43 right now at the airport in Great Falls under mostly cloudy skies, but the clouds are quickly thinning out to the east. It does feel a little cooler when you factor in that wind out of the west around 15. Current feels like 36. Across the state, a couple of snow showers in the Little Belts down in southern Fergus County and a couple of rain showers out in southern and south central Montana, but that's about it. We're pretty much dry everywhere else. Temperatures are a bit cooler in Glasgow there. 27 degrees, it's 34 in Havre. This evening, still mild at 7 o'clock, 41 with clear skies. We'll take those starry skies with us into the overnight hours as temperatures slowly fall into the mid and lower 30s. We'll look ahead to a mild weekend forecast and look at some of your viewer photos. That's when the news continues.
All right.